On this particular item, I'm just relaying the message as an employee of this company.
And you understand that the statement that you're making now is in conflict with what your representative said 2 weeks ago?
The representative you're speaking of is Field with Rice Financial.
He represented, because we refer to Malachi, we refer to Rice.
He does not work for...
and so you were doing work, what you're saying is you were doing work without a contract.
Generally, in this line of work, there are certain things that we do before there is a contract in place, just because of our line of work. And we've done that in the past. That's just how our business works.
Okay.
I'm ready for the motion, Mr. President.
Okay. Let's,
Mr. President.
hold 1 second. Let's see if we have one additional discussion for Ms. Calhoun, then we'll go to Mr. Stokes for to make the motion.
Surely you can tell us some of the things that you all have done to move the feasibility study forward. I would like to know what has been done. Can you explain the scope of work regarding the feasibility study and what has been initiated regarding the feasibility study? And if Wagner is in fact a partner in compiling or collecting the data, what data has been collected? What have you done is simply a question that I'm asking. What have you done to initiate the study? And what are the components of this study?
As I said before, I'm here in representing Porter Bingham, who is working on this project specifically. I am an employee of the company, and I have been assigned other projects. So I can't give you specifics. What I can do is relay the message that Porter gave me, and it's that he said that there has been work that we've already started and completed on this particular project before we were told that we have been rescinded off of this project.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You keep saying you are representing a representative would obviously be knowledgeable of the work that has been initiated. But I also want to caution this board, again, that we have a Hinds County Economic Development District that has in-house capabilities and can do this same study for less than, right at $10,000. I think it would be absolutely ridiculous if this board moved forward in voting to expend over $200,000 for work that can be done in-house. Again, there is information already available to this board, available to our district, and a mini study has already been done. So to pay $200,000, and where is the money coming from? Where do you propose this $200,000 come from?
Okay, let's, we've been talking about this now for about 35, 40 minutes, and the last thing will be Mr. Fisher, and then we'll go to Mr. Stokes, and we'll wait to clear this item up.
Now, we're about to have a motion here to spend $200,000, which I presume you passed 3-2. And our question is, what is the scope of work
Of this project?
Yeah. I mean, just earlier, after having had information for a week, we were told that wasn't enough time to read it. Now we're being told, here's a $200,000 motion with no scope of work, with no possibility or no question about whether or not this should be bid or not, with no other items, just vote and spend $200,000. Oh, by the way, where's the $200,000 coming from? So where's the scope of work for this? Are we just talking about John Dale Williams in phase 1A, or are we talking about all the phases remaining? I mean, what is the scope of work? Do we even know? Who else is involved in this? Are you involving Wagner Engineering in this? Are they aware of that? I mean, can anybody tell me anything more than we want to give y'all $200,000?
Well, we were hired for this particular project in the past, and the scope is the same scope that we were hired for previously.
Okay. Do I have that scope?
It should be on the record. Someone should definitely have it.
I don't have the scope.
Okay.
But help me understand so help me understand what it is that you're proposing to Mr. Stokes and Mr. Anderson that this job is going to be.
We're here to provide a feasibility study for this particular corridor. That's all I have at this time, and I'm sure that we have on record specifically that lays out in detail what the scope of our services that we will be provided. I see where you're going, but you got to understand that I'm here representing someone that's in our company, giving you as much information as I can. We've done business with the county before, and we've shown that we are a reputable company and we do a good job at what we do. So we're not trying to slide anything past you. We were hired for this project beforehand. We were told that we were no longer involved in this project, and we're just here to say we've already started some work, and we want to continue in that process of providing you what we said we would do.
Okay, Mr. Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to make a statement before I make this motion. And my statement is, I have never met this young man, talked to him. I haven't talked to anybody with Malachi about any of this. But my position is this. We need to know whether or not it's going to be a completed project, not a half year, portion year, completed project. And if these gentlemen are going to do the study to tell us yes or no, we need to do it. So I move that we rescind the termination of Malachi.
Okay. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of?
Hang on, I have another question.
Excuse me, Mr. Fisher.
So now we're going to rescind the termination of Malachi. But we don't know what that means. Nobody sitting in this room can tell me if that means, as it was stated in the December 5th meeting, just around John Bell, or by that motion, if it means the whole parkway. Because this whole parkway talks about, feasibility studies of whether or not we're going to finish the parkway or something. That's not in writing, so I don't have it in front of me. But it just seems to me that this is a pretty ambiguous project to spend $200,000 unbudgeted that we don't have from anywhere to come up with it. So I would be curious, as part of my questions, Mr. President, is to find out where the $200,000 is coming. And I'm using that figure because I assume that's the same figure you're going to come back with later. Not only what the scope of work is, but where the $200,000 will come from.
Okay. Mr. Stokes has made a motion, and the only comment that I will make is, in addition to that particular statement, Ms. Woods, if you would just provide where the money would come from for this particular study, and that no particular price has been set as to a $200,000 figure or anything like that of this particular nature. Could you provide that?
Mr. President, before she answers that question, it was stated in conversation and is documented in our minutes that Malachi would charge a fee from, I think, $75,000 to $100,000, and Wagner would charge $100,000. And Wagner, again, was totally unaware that they had been included as a partner in this particular project.
Okay. Ms. Woods,
It would be asinine for this board to sit here and vote to pay over $200,000 for a feasibility study when the feasibility has already been determined, where the feasibility study can be again done in-house for less than $10,000.
Okay. All right. We're just, a lot of these statements that we're making today are just purely subjective. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure that from Mrs. Woods, and then we'll go ahead and carry the motion. The money was coming out of the bond issue. Okay.
Mr. President, subjectivity would mean personal. We have concrete facts to that. I would not sit here.
Man, I thought it said subjective. Okay. All right.
Like you did say subjective.
Okay.
And I would not sit here if I did not have documented facts of what is listed in our board minutes. And our board minutes speak for the action of this board.
Okay.
And I also have been in conversation with our economic development director regarding the feasibility of this project and information.
Okay.
So my comments are not based on personal opinions. My comments are based on facts.
Okay. There's been a lot of discussion regarding this particular issue. All those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to?
No.
The motion passes. Will the clerk please read the order?
The motion passed 3-2.
Yes.
Resolved to rescind the termination of Malachi for feasibility study for the Byron Airport.
Okay.
And Mr. President, this is another example of our taxpayers' dollars flowing outside of Hinds County, including outside of this state, to companies that are located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Let's continue on. We're
Mr. President, just one quick thing.
Okay.
Would you, when we do our claims in the future, would you pull this matter out for separate vote, please?
Sir.
okay. Now, we are, as I stated, we've talked about this for quite some time, so what we'll do is we'll continue to move on. Mr. Stokes, do you have any other items on your agenda?
Mine is complete, Mr. President.
Okay. All right. We will now go to Mrs. Davis, the county administrator. Mrs. Davis, it's still morning. Good morning, and go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. First item on the agenda is related to unclaimed bodies. However, there are no unclaimed bodies for your consideration today.
Okay.
The next item is from Mrs. Mickey Parker, Director of Personnel, to present one item for your consideration.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. President, Board members, I'm requesting approval for the renewal of the major medical gap insurance, which is the renewal date is April 1st with no change in the rates.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of it, excuse me, discussion?
Thank you. Ms. Parker, this is the gap insurance.
Yes, sir.
Normally, the gap insurance is that insurance, we get another company that might not cover what we normally have for our employees to fill in that vacant,
Yes, sir.
what they call the gap. Is this the same thing, and how much are we looking at?
It's based on the age of the employee, and I have a list that breaks down the actual rates.
Could
if
you
would
read
like that.
it?
For under age 40, it's $35.49 for the employee plus a spouse, $36.89 plus children, $78.60, and insured plus family, $106.96. For ages 40 to 49, 48, 44, insured only, insured plus spouse, $87.19, insured plus children, $89.22, insured plus family, $127.96. Age 50 and above, insured only, $80.08, insured plus spouse, $144.11, insured plus children, $129.86, insured plus family, $193.82.
Which company is this with?
It's through Allstate.
Well,
Ms. Parker, was any information mailed to us before the board meeting?
The actual premiums were not, but the policy was along with the agreement. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of?
yes.
Opposed to? Motion passes. Will the clerk please read the order?
Resolved to approve the renewal of the major medical gap insurance with Allstate. The renewal date is April 1, 2012. There is no change in the rate.
Okay. Continue, please. That it, Mr. Stokes?
Ms. Parker, is there anything wrong with you reading that in the record? So we'll have it in the record. Was there anything wrong with you reading that in the record?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Ms. Davis, continue, please.
Yes, Mr. President, if you don't mind, may I deviate from the agenda? I do have additional agenda items, but I do have representatives here from a company, and if I could get to them.
Continue, please. Go ahead. Are these on the additional agenda items?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. And board members, I do have 2 additional agenda items that were submitted to you on Friday. I do apologize for that last minute submittal. However, staff and I were working to the very last minute to negotiate this contract with...
Did you provide the clerk's office with this?
I did, Ms. Campbell. Thank you. With Inline, or it's called Contact Network, Inc., doing business as Inline. And the first item for your consideration is approval for non-exclusive telecommunication franchise agreement. I do have representatives here today, I believe, Mr. Tim Bowman and Mr. John Gifford, who are here to answer any questions that you may have. A statement or memo was submitted to you this morning stating the purpose of this agreement. The request, this agreement allows Contact Network Inc., doing business as Inline, to compensate Hinds County for the use of certain public right-of-ways of Hinds County for the purposes of constructing, installing, using, maintaining, testing, managing, inspecting, repairing, and removing telecommunications systems and services. Inline was awarded $2 million, a $2 million grant under the Broadband Technology Opportunity Program of the Stimulus Project, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. This grant aims to provide broadband to unserved and underserved areas of the country and will be used to build a high-speed next-generation fiber network connecting 16 counties in southern and central Mississippi. So if you have any questions, the Inline representatives will certainly welcome your questions.
All right, any questions from any board member as it relates to this particular issue?
Yes, sir, please.
Mr. Stokes, if the representative will come to the front, please. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Stokes.
What's the duration of the contract?
The duration of the contract would be for 20 years.
Renewable after 10 or what?
No, sir. No, I don't.
Straight 20 years?
It'll be straight 20 years.
No.
And this is pending board attorney approval, so I'm not asking for the franchise.
For the franchise.
I believe it was. I'm sure the company is willing to reconsider if that's an issue.
What's the fees they're paying to the county?
The fees they're paying to the county would be a 5% gross revenue fee. So any gross revenues, the county would receive 5%. Also, this county would also receive an an acceptance fee of $15,000. Also, an annual fee of $25,000. And also an initiation fee of $15,000. $5,000.
What's their projection?
Current sales and revenue.
Would you just give us your name and come to the podium, please, for the record?
My name is John Gifford. I'm the Vice President of our Broadband and Government Services. And I apologize, I don't have any sales figures or projections for you today, but I can certainly provide those to the council and to the supervisors for your approval or review. But those are all projections. They're simply what we believe will acquire and occur. And this is also not only to serve other businesses, also here to potentially serve the supervisor in your county as an entity as well, provide fiber communication services between your facilities to improve communication, to allow video conferencing and security and improved internet access and many other services that can be utilized across the fiber network.
Where are you headquartered out of?
Our main office is out of Birmingham, Alabama. Our main focus is Alabama and Mississippi. We've had an office in the Jackson metro area since early 2000.
So in the rural areas, are you going to make sure that they have high speed?
Yes, sir. Our focus is actually the anchor institutions and other carriers, and we are actually working with Verizon and building to their towers that will provide 4G services to the surrounding communities. This will provide upwards of 5 megabit, 10 megabit communications into a handheld device that will replace wired services for a lot of folks that today don't even have access to broadband
So it's
services.
going to give them access in the rural area.
Yes, sir.
That
The focus
the
of
United
this.
States Congress will fight
Yes,
for.
and actually, the fund, for the statewide, there were 2 grants that were funded, and it was $32 million, and we have an additional $8 million that we're matching to that, and we've actually added about 700 miles of fiber to the original 1,200 miles of fiber, and about another 20 or $30 million to that budget.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. President, if I may
Okay.
say,
Go ahead.
the board may be interested to know that this proposed franchise agreement is similar to that of the City of Jackson. So the City of Jackson also has a similar agreement.
20 years?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of?
Aye.
Opposed to?
No.
Motion passes. Will the clerk please read the order?
Resolved to approve the non-exclusive telecommunications franchise agreement with Contact Networks Incorporated DBA Inline.
Okay. Continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, the second additional item is requesting approval of telecommunications services agreement with Inline. The board had a meeting or a work session in April 14, 2001. Discussion and a presentation from Inline. And at that time, Inline, of course, presented their work that they're doing in the central Mississippi area. And at that time, it was the interest of the board for staff to consider their services. Of course, as we know, we were interested in upgrading our technology, and it is also in line with the request to provide teleconferencing and video arraignment for our court system. And in order to do that, we of course had to upgrade our technology so that we can accommodate that service. We believe that Inline provides services at a very competitive price. We have reviewed it in staff, and I want to thank Mr. Steve Otis, our IT director, and also Mr. Ray Bryant, our communications manager, for assisting me in working with Inline in providing a very attractive service for the county. And if you don't mind, I'd like to highlight some of those items in the agreement for you. This will be a 10-year agreement, pricing schedule. It provides a fiber network capacity of nearly 100 times the current network provider, AT&T, at an estimated monthly cost of $8,704. Our current cost is $8,510.75 per month. This will include 100 megabyte network lines, 1,000 megabit network line, and a 20 megabit internet access. It offers free service for the first 3 months, creating a savings of over $26,000 within the first year of the contract. It requires a setup fee equal to 1 month's service, which is $8,704. It provides a broadband usage increase at no cost should the network reach at 80% capacity. It presents a network review of service costs at the 5th anniversary of the agreement. That is, if rates reduce, the service costs will reduce.
Repeat that. That's at the 5th year?
The 5th year anniversary, there will be a market review of the service. And if the rates increase at that time or reduce at that time, our service costs would reduce as well. So over time, sometimes technology cost decreases as times go on. So our contract would, of course, allow for that decrease to occur.
Only at the 5th year.
At the 5th year, yes, sir. It offers a managed lease network that includes routing and or switching hardware for the demarcation points in each facility. The current provider charges